Hi everyone and welcome. Today we have Vale and Kiara. And the main points that we are going to talk about is why we are here, where we are, and just have fun. I don't know how you get to find TechnoTutor, but I'd like to hear about that. And maybe say where we are, or Kiara, you can say where we are. Where are we?
We're in Florida.
Okay, where in Florida?
Tampa.
Tampa. Okay, awesome. And why did we come here? Do you remember the TechnoTutor event?
That's what I was thinking, but I thought you meant Florida.
Yeah, so first the TechnoTutor event, and then we are here in Tampa. So Vale, you can introduce yourself, say what you want, and a little bit about you.
Yeah, for sure. Hi everybody, I'm Valley. I've been using TechnoTutor for a long time, the majority of my life, I think. I discovered TechnoTutor because through Avery Williams, which is the founder of TechnoTutor Canada. It was a very interesting meetup because at the time where I got TechnoTutor, my English skills weren't very good because English is my second language. I spoke Spanish, and I had a hard time communicating, and I had quite a bit of insecurities, and wasn't very social with people, and I didn't know how to express myself very well, and I was going through some hard times after losing a family member that I really care about. I was going through a lot of depression, and so I went to an event in Seattle to try to assist myself to stop feeling so depressed. And in that event is when I met Avery Williams, and he told me that he worked with a technology that could help you understand your emotions and can help you become stable and balanced. And he gave me his card, and so when I went back home, the pain of being in the situation that I was too great. So calling Avery, I didn't have anything to lose. So I went to Avery and I called him, and then he presented TechnoTutor to me, and I saw right away by using TechnoTutor how that actually functions, how it helps you become stable. So I bought it right away. And then I bought an Area Distributorship as well. Yeah, and I've been using TechnoTutor since. And I have used TechnoTutor not only to become stable within my decisions, to also become more well-known in my career. So I train dogs for a living, and I train dogs that are very highly advanced and specialized for children and with epilepsy, diabetes, and things like that. And TechnoTutor allowed me to become one of the best in my field because I was able to integrate all the vocabulary necessary to do my job more effectively.
That's something that I wanted to ask, because I know that you are in the dog business, and prior to TechnoTutor, that means you already had that business.
Yeah.
And already being an entrepreneur and having a successful business, how will you say, because most of the time people think that, because I'm doing X, Y, and Z and it's working, I don't need anything else, or I don't even need TechnoTutor anymore. How will you say that has assisted you in your journey?
Well, the difference was before I got TechnoTutor, I was successful with the dogs, but not with the people. So I could work with the dogs and create change within the dogs, but I wasn't creating change within the people that own the dogs because I couldn't communicate. So even though you would have considered my business to be successful, it wasn't really, because I wasn't able to impact people the way that they needed to be impacted for them to have lasting results with their dogs. So once I got TechnoTutor, and I started using, especially the brick wall, which is just the basic vocabulary, and I started to actually enjoy being around people, which was a complete different experience for me, because in the past I would just avoid people altogether.
Yes.
Right? And I started enjoying people, and I also started observing people and I realized I had admiration for people and I wanted to help people. So once that happened, I opened myself to the possibility of studying human psychology. So then I started studying human psychology and how people communicate and how they learn. And then through that, I changed my program from just working with dogs to including people. And I wrote a program that created a fun experience for people and also allowed them to understand dogs a lot better. So that's when my company actually became successful. I wouldn't have said that my company was successful before because, yes, I was working with dogs effectively, but I wasn't creating lasting change.
Yeah, and that's really a huge point because most of the people, they just hide. They choose business like, let us say, anything that has to do with computer where you just hide and then you have no interaction with other people. And what you just said comes to a point where when you don't have the self-confidence, the self-esteem to actually communicate with other people, you can only grow so much. And when you develop those skills that then helps you to communicate with other people, then that's where everything takes off to the next level.
Yeah, it's like interesting because you can cope by not dealing with people. But in reality, when you create value for people, you become wealthy. The more value you give, the more wealth follows you. Especially if that value is something that can be spread across their family as well. So that's what I found with TechnoTutor. Once I started using dogs psychology and sharing TechnoTutor with people, people started changing and their lives got so much better. And that value that was created for them, they reciprocated back.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that was really magical. Whereas before, it was mostly like a coping mechanism. I'm going to train your dog, but I'm not going to work with you.
Yes.
And so that wasn't as effective. And like honestly, interacting with people and being around people, it's amazing. Like when you talk to people and you hear their stories, I mean, people are just so phenomenal. And when you show them that they don't have to be restricted in how they feel about past experiences or how they react to certain things that happen within them, and they can be stable, is really amazing to see.
Yeah, and that's really good and that's really wonderful. And one thing also that bless you. One thing that it's also really great is because you saw it that okay, I have this business, I'm doing this and this and this and this, but I have a room to improve, to grow. And you saw the opportunity with TechnoTutor and you grasp it. So before TechnoTutor, like, have you tried something else to actually work that point? Or how was it like for you? And you mentioned that you went to an event.
Yeah. So before TechnoTutor, I tried hypnotherapy. I tried like counselors, I tried psychologists, I tried like brain activation techniques. I tried a lot of things because I realized that I wasn't the same as everybody else. I realized that I had anxiety, that it was hard for me to interact with people or like connect to people. I noticed that and I didn't understand why others could do that and I couldn't do it. So I was looking for a solution for that through many years, but nothing I tried actually worked. Until TechnoTutor.
Yeah, that's good to see. And also, knowing how TechnoTutor actually helps you go deeper to the root cause of like everything, which is the age from 0 to 7, where we all got programmed.
I mean, even when I met Kiara, like when I met Kiara, she was just beginning her journey with TechnoTutor. And she was actually a little bit shy, and I remember I was playing with her in the pool, and she got angry because I did something, and she's like, "I don't want to play with you," and she left. And she had this reaction, and then now, like I spend most of my vacation like playing with you, and there hasn't been one reaction. It's been amazing. Like your ability to be stable now is so incredible. And even your capacity to read, like we've been reading books, and your capacity to ask questions, and it's so different. Just our experience together is so different. And like one of the things I thought about it when I started using TechnoTutor is what would your life be like if you had no limitations. Like if you know you could learn anything,
Exactly.
and you knew you couldn't fail because you have the capacity to learn,
Yeah.
how would your life look like? Like you wouldn't hesitate on anything. You wouldn't be worried about anything, because if something happens, oh, this broke, you know you can learn, you can fix it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's so amazing to see that change in her, and like in her sister, and in all the community that we're here for. It's incredible. For me, that's absolutely invaluable, because at the end of the day, like in order to create a world that we're really proud of, or like we want to participate in, where life is treated as equal and with the ultimate respect, we need to be able to understand how to change things, or how to grow things, or how to create things without emotional baggage, just like stable, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. And it brings us then to that part of, you saw the technology, you use it for yourself, you saw the result that it has given you, and you didn't stop there. Why?
Because okay, this is really interesting. So when I was providing dogs for people, what happened is that people weren't changing. So a dog is basically like a mirror. So let's say that you have anxiety and you get a dog. If you don't change, all that anxiety is going to be picked up by the dog, and the dog is going to be affected by it, and eventually the dog is going to suffer. Now, how long it takes for the dog to suffer really depends on genetics and the type of dog, and like a whole bunch of stuff. So what I was seeing in my life is that all these people were getting dogs, and the dogs were picking up on all their emotional triggers, and they were picking up on like all these instabilities, and the dogs were suffering quite a bit. So once I realized that was happening, because of my career being primarily like being able to help a dog evolve with a person, I didn't want the dog to suffer. So then by providing TechnoTutor and helping people change with TechnoTutor, the dog did not suffer, and it is the opposite. People and dogs started evolving together into a relationship that is such based in trust and respect, and so amazing. The bond is so amazing, you don't even have to talk. You just feel it. It's amazing.
That's wonderful. And then you use that opportunity to also say, okay, I've used it, I've seen how it has helped me change, and now I want to share that with other people.
Yeah.
And that's what brought us here to this this event, and so on. And what is like your take on, like, if there was someone like listening? I know it's a lot in your story than the little that you just shared, but if you were to look at, because you now have taken that responsibility of also supporting other people to make that change that you're seeing for yourself, that you've had for yourself. So if you were to say to someone who is actually looking and still not know what to do or what road to take, like what would you say to someone like that?
Well, I will say that it's really interesting. I will say to consider that suffering is optional, and that with the right tools, you can really become very effective. With the right tools, you can change yourself, so your experience is much more supported and much more valuable for yourself and for others. And that it is very different when you're stable, how the world is perceived. That there is this level of relaxation where you're just here, present. Like, I felt so calm the entire time I've been here. There's really nothing that has disturbed me. Everything has been so like harmonious, and that's because you're stable. So I would say that if anybody is having a hard time emotionally, in a career, financially, romantically, I will consider contacting us or somebody from the group, because we have the capacity to show you some of the tools that we have used, the tools that we have used for change, and you can then make a decision if that's something that you would like to try.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like looking at that for yourself, like looking at not just listen to what she said and then say, oh, that's great, maybe just like anything else. It's definitely not anything else, because so many people are changing their lives for that. We are seeing that over and over and over again. And if you would like to know more, like I said, she hasn't even shared like like I don't know, like the 1% of the 100% of your story of how much you have changed to be where you are right now. So if you are interested in knowing more about that, you can always reach out to Valley. I'm gonna put her contact in the description. You can always reach out to Valley, and she's gonna go even deeper based on the questions that you have, and so that you can also see that for yourself, so that you can also make that change for yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. It's your life, and it's you. Then who's going to make that first decision? We can support you, but you have to be willing
To take a step.
Yeah. So that's it. Any last word that
I would just say your ability to process information, it directly affects how you perceive the world. So basically, the more words you know effectively, the better, more effective you can be in the world. And all your dreams that you have are actually possible.
Exactly.
You just need the tools.
Yeah.
And this entire by the way, like getting TechnoTutor doesn't mean that you're alone. I mean, I have an entire community behind us, and there's been plenty of times where I have assisted support, and I gotten it from so many people, and it's so amazing to have that. Nowadays, that comes so rare, and it's so amazing to have a community that is willing to help you out no matter what.
Exactly. And talking of community, it reminds me of what we had yesterday with one of our friends, and he went through a point that he has been stuck into that for 30 plus years. And we think like not a section, but we were just hanging around together talking. And he came to that point and he let that point go. So he's never going to be the same. He has shifted something that he has been carrying around for over 30 years. So that's the power of the community. You will never have that anywhere else. So that's it for this one, and talk to you another time.
Ciao.